I made a video a few months back on what the best bases for MMA were, and I came to the conclusion that wrestling was the best base for MMA and translates the best for MMA. However, I've got a new base, and it could be better than wrestling. Delusion. I think Delusion is the best base for MMA, and here are the top 5 most delusional fighters in the UFC. Starting off with number 1, Ian Machado Garry. Where do we even start with Ian Garry? We can start with the MVP stuff, where he said that he rocked MVP in round 2 when he didn't. He just didn't rock MVP in round 2. But I think we should start with the fact that he thinks he's next in line for the title. Or for a title shot. He's coming off a win to number 12 in the world, Carlos Prates. That is not the best win inside the top 6 or inside the top 7. He thinks that he is the next in line above Brady, who's coming off a win to Edwards, Shavkat, who is coming off a win to Ian Garry, by the way. We'll get onto the Shavkat stuff in a second. He thinks he's above Islam Makhachev. Well, no, he doesn't. He specifically says he's not above Islam Makhachev, but we'll get onto that in a second, because that's another quote I got from him. He thinks he's above Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley. Obviously, I know Buckley just lost, but I would argue we should do Buckley versus Garry next. Buck versus Cuck, but you know what I'm saying. He's not next in line for a title shot. And one of the reasons why is Shavkat murked him. He didn't murk him, but it was quite a boring fight. But Shavkat beat him. Look what I did to Shavkat, bro. He pulled a Joe Rogan on us. Look, people forget, man. Look what he did to Shavkat. He took him 5 rounds for the first time in his career. Ian Garry speaks for that Shavkat loss like it was a win. Like he beat Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat went into that fight 18-0, okay? He came out of the fight 19-0. You didn't beat him. It wasn't a robbery. You didn't beat him. It was close. There were some close rounds. It was a boring fight because Ian Garry only knows how to put on boring performances. You fight MVP, it's boring. You fight Carlos Prates, it's boring. You fight Shavkat Rakhmonov, who finished every single opponent in every single fight. It's still boring. How do you make that boring, bro? How do you make him boring? You make Shavkat Rakhmonov boring. You know what I mean? Anyway, he's speaking of that Shavkat fight like he won, like he beat Shavkat. You didn't beat him. Yeah, you made him look beatable, but did he? You had a locked-in rear naked choke that wasn't locked in because it wasn't even under the chin, and you couldn't even get it off because you're vegan. So, I guess you kind of made him look human. Nice one. Do you want a fucking medal, bro? Like, Shavkat beat you, man. He beat you. Get over it. But the next one is me and Islam Makhachev. We're the future of the division. We're the future of the UFC. We are both, well-rounded guys. Islam Makhachev's probably watching that interview going, who is we? Who are we? Why are you comparing yourself to me? Well, I'm on a different level to you. Islam Makhachev is levels above Ian Garry. Ian Garry say that him and Islam are the future. Who are we, little bro? You are not on the same level as Islam Makhachev. I know you want to cook up to him and give him, a title shot, but because he's specifically made that very clear that Islam Makhachev is ahead of anyone else in the division if he wants a title shot. Because that's all Ian Garry knows to do is to cook out, but very delusional from Ian Garry. Moving on, number 2, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, he's got some pretty delusional stuff. We're going to start off with the Charles Oliveira stuff, though. I beat Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10. He's lost to him twice. So, Chandler clearly by this statement meant, I beat Charles Oliveira 18 times out of 20. If you just double it. He has to fight Charles Oliveira 18 times before he can beat him. But he beats him 18 times out of 20. He said 9 times out of 10. He actually meant 18 times out of 20. I never hit Charles Oliveira in the back of the head. I know we all watched him do it, but he never did it. And his excuse for this was, via a technicality, he didn't technically hit him in the back of the head. And the technicality was, there's a center line that's drawn straight down the middle of the head, and then there's about an inch width to either side, so about a 2-inch gap, which is classified as the back of the head. And Chandler apparently didn't hit this, so he'd never hit Charles Oliveira in the back of the head. That's something a politician would do. It's something a politician would do where they get asked a question saying, oh, you said you would never do this. And he said, well, I didn't do this. My secretary did this. He still gave the order to do it, but he just didn't carry it out. You know what I mean? So by technicality, he never did it. That's the type of shit Chandler was trying to pull. He clearly hit Charles Oliveira in the head. He was like postured up on that position above him like a gorilla and started raining down hammer fists, fully clenched onto the back of the head of Charles Oliveira. So, nice one. Moving on, I will get the Conor McGregor fight. Hang on. Why have I done an Irish accent for Chandler? I'm gonna get that Conor fight. I'm gonna beat Charles Oliveira. I'm then gonna beat Islam Makhachev for the title. And then if Conor wants to come back and fight for the title, I'm here for it. He's never getting that Conor fight. He looks at Conor McGregor and goes, I can fix it. You know what I mean? He's the same as like the average dude when he sees a goth girl out in public who's like, you know, a little bit crazy. It's like, I can fix it. When in actuality, they just end up getting tied down and held in the basement for 6 days. But he's not getting the Conor fight. He's never going to get it. He wasted far too much time. And he's still calling out Conor, by the way. He's on Twitter calling him out for January 2026. What are we doing? Very delusional for Michael Chandler as always. Moving on. Jamal Hill. This man invented Delusion. Okay? He invented Delusion. We'll start off with the basics. Pereira cheated by closing the gap against him at UFC 300. Now, if you rewatch the fight, he kicks Pereira in the balls, not a shot. Herb Dean steps in and goes, ta! No, he didn't go there. He went, time. Pereira says, no, I want to continue. Jamal Hill puts his thumbs up, taps Pereira on the glove, taps him on the glove again, throws the first punch, then gets knocked out. And apparently Pereira cheated. You know what I mean? Now, that's not to say Jamal Hill probably switched himself off. You know, you just kick someone in the balls, you need to, like, you know, come back to reality a little bit and go, sorry, bro, do you want a minute? Jamal Hill switched off, okay? He's not ready, he's not expecting a knockout blow to come. Pereira says, no, I'm good, I'm ready. Jamal Hill then needs to switch himself on and has about 5 seconds to just lock the fuck in, otherwise he's going out cold. And unfortunately, he couldn't do that. He got knocked out cold. But he was very delusional about this and very evident in the fact that Pereira cheated and closed the gap on him. So, delusional. Next one. I lost to Alex Pereira better than you did. And that is to Yuri Prochazka. His whole thing was, going into that Yuri fight, that Pereira had Yuri's ponytail drifting off to the side, and I lost better than you, so I'm going to beat you. That was Jamal Hill's whole shtick. Clearly he didn't know Yuri evolved, and now comes back with head movement, so Jamal Hill just got murked. But he arguably did lose to Pereira better than him, but you know what I mean? Come on, Jamal. He also said something about that, you took Glover to war, I knocked him out in one. That type of stuff. Just delusional from Jamal Hill. He invented Delusion, and there's so many more things I can go into, but I just can't get the exact quotes, and I don't want to misquote him and like give off the wrong impression. So we're gonna end it here, and we're gonna move on to number 4. Sean O'Malley. Not a loss against Chito Vera, apparently. I know it says in his record that he's got a loss, and it was deemed a loss via ground and pound, but, you know, he hit him with a perennial nerve kick, and he never hit him with that perennial nerve kick, he would have won. That's his whole shtick. And we also saw inside the rematch, he probably would have won. Vera's not on his level. However, if Kamaru Usman says, well, if Edwards never hit me with that head kick, I would have won. He's delusional. Okay? You can't sit there and say, if he never hit me with this legal strike, I would have won. Yeah, that's all well and good to say, bro, but he still hit you with the strike. It shut your nerve off. Yeah, unlucky. Henry Cejudo had that against Demetrius Johnson, and he took him 5 hard rounds where, yeah, it was a close fight. Some people calling it a robbery. Cejudo won it. So let's just calm it down a second, bro. You could have won that fight. You didn't. It's unfortunate. Unlucky. Next up, I won the Merab fight. I won the first Merab fight. Round 1, 3, and 5. I rewatched the fight. Round 1, 3, and 5 are close. There is an argument for Sean O'Malley. I think you give round 1 to Merab. I think round 3 can go either way. And I think round 5 is O'Malley's round. You did not win that fight. It was not a robbery. It was not a clear-cut robbery. And barely anyone's agreeing with you except for MMA Guru. So, wrap it up, brother. Next up. I think I clearly won 2 rounds. And he's referring to the Piotr Jan fight. I think the delusional thing in this sentence is, though, clearly won 2 rounds. He didn't clearly win 2 rounds. He won 2 rounds, which is debates how much you score grappling inside a fight and effective grappling. I think you give it to Jan based on effective grappling, personally. But I don't think you clearly won 2 rounds. You won 2 rounds, don't get me wrong. Clearly, yeah, you're taking a bit too far. Number 5, Israel Adesanya. There's only 2 quotes for this one, but we kind of got a 2-in-1. This is referring to the Alex Pereira fight. I was never out cold, and I slipped because of a perennial nerve kick that happened in round 1. Adesanya said that Pereira dropped him in round 5 because of a perennial nerve kick that he hit in round number 1. Just think about that for a second. We saw in every single fight that a perennial nerve kick shuts the leg down like that. Just gone. Out, out, out. First time immediately. Well, apparently with Adesanya, it has an onset time of 20 minutes. So he got knocked out because he didn't actually get knocked out. He slipped, which then led Mark Goddard to think that he, because of the perennial nerve kick, he slipped, and then it led Mark Goddard to think, we should step in now. No. He was out cold, on the feet. It was not a perennial nerve kick. Alex Pereira just chewed up your leg. Delusion. Next up, they can relate to me. And he's talking about the favela kids. Because apparently, according to him, he had a similar upbringing to the kids in the Brazil favelas. If you know anything about Israel Adesanya's early life, he had servants in Nigeria that would bathe him. He does not have a similar life to the kids in the favelas in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? You're not in the same boat as them, little bro. Your father is a banker and you moved to New Zealand when you were 11. You're not in the same boat as them. You're in a completely different boat with all the other rich kids. But that's it for this video. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you think Delusion is the best space for MMA. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.